Hello guys, welcome to Storytimes. Thanks for joining us. Today we've got a brand new story to share with you. Support the channel by liking, commenting, and subscribing. I promise, even more interesting stories. Also, let us know in the comments which city you're watching from. Now, make sure to stick around till the end, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. It actually helps more than you think. Fine, my voice remained impassive. Brenda's voice rose. Fine, did you hear what I said? Yes, dear. You're going on a date with another man this Friday, and you're okay with that? Her surprise was impossible to ignore. Not at all, but what choice do I have? Like you said, I don't control you. You're on your own. Your voice and facial expression tell me you're determined to go through with this. So what choice do I have left? I'll be back. Don't let your fragile male ego get in the way. I love you, and I'll make it right, you'll see. Then you know it's wrong. I kept my voice calm and steady again. What do you mean? I didn't say anything like that. I deserved it. Would your parents and mine agree with you? Brenda lowered her eyes and didn't answer, a dead giveaway. I let the moment settle in her mind. It wasn't visible, but I knew it was still in her mind. You know, and I know they won't do it. You know what you're doing is wrong. You just said it. What when? Why else did you say you'd make it up to me? If it was dinner with friends, you wouldn't have to make it up to me. Or if you want to get a haircut. You only said it because you know what you're doing is wrong, and you know it makes you an evil person. Her voice betrayed uncertainty. But, you said I could do it. No, I never have, and I never will. I only admitted that I had no power to stop you. I certainly don't approve of it in any way. I wish you'd stay with me or go out with me. We could go to the same restaurant, and afterward to the same dance club. But it's not about food or dancing, is it? You prefer company, and that company isn't me. You want that what's-his-name man, am I right? Again, the upturned head in silence. What's his name then? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to argue about it. Just know this. I don't want you walking around with Mr. Pussyhound, and meeting him on Friday will have consequences. What consequences? Like you with Mr. Hound, I'm not saying. You're not only beautiful, you're smart. I keep telling you those two things. Apparently you think I only say it because I have to. I don't. I say them because I mean them. I leave it to you, smart woman, to guess for yourself the consequences of going out with Mr. Pussyhound on Friday instead of me. You're bluffing. You love me. You always give me what I want. Well, I want it. And like I said, I'll come back. And we'll love each other and grow old together. I can't keep you from doing stupid things, but you've been warned. You're on your own. I got up, grabbed my keys, and left before she could say anything else. All week the apartment had been chilly, to say the least. Thursday night, I picked up my stuff and moved into the guest room. What are you doing, Rick? Stopping with an armful of clothes, I looked at her like a 2-year-old. Looks like I grossly overestimated your intelligence. What do I seem to be doing? You're moving? Yes, my wife wants to date other men. You think I'm going to sleep in the same room with a cheating whore? Dream on. Her voice took on the sing-song quality of a 5-year-old tease. You're such a little boy. Without a word, I grabbed an armful of clothes, hung them in a vacant closet, and went back for another batch. So now you're trying to punish the big bad witch with silence, she smirked. See how pathetic you are? Consequences was my only response. She can't say she wasn't warned. Friday afternoon I got off early and went to a high-end unisex salon where I got a professional modern haircut, a clean razor shave, and a manicure. No shiny stuff on my nails, really. At the men's clothing store next door, I bought a casual, elegant button-down shirt, slacks, and a jacket. I thought about new shoes, but decided that new shoes and dancing didn't mix, so I declined. On the way home, I stopped at a car wash and had them do a deep clean. My truck didn't know what to do with it. At home, I took a shower, and when I heard Brenda come in and take a shower, I went downstairs and waited. Half an hour later, she came down wearing a new dress I had never seen before, a few inches above the knee, giving the world a generous view of her cleavage. She stopped on the last step and looked at me as if expecting a compliment. When I remained silent, she looked at me a second time, and her eyes opened like saucers. Holy shit, you look gorgeous. Where are you going? Outside, what did you think? Mimicking her condescending voice, I continued, that your weak, ignorant husband would just sit at home and wait for her promiscuous majesty to deign to show up? Shaking my head slowly, I opened the door to the garage and continued in a reproachful tone. And here I thought you were smart. How can one person be wrong? Well, I don't want to be late. Charmaine doesn't stand for it. Getting into my clean truck, I heard a shout and smiled. Gotcha. Charmaine and I spent a terrific evening at a wine bar that served light dinners. And on weekends, a live pianist played on the small dance floor. At work, we had already found that conversation between us flowed easily. Even better, she appreciated my humor. Yes, it's a cliché, but it's true. Few things capture a guy's heart as much as a woman laughing at his jokes. Dancing together was like having sex in shoes. We matched each other, and more than once, our lips touched ears, cheeks, and lips. Our bodies exuded magic as we pressed against each other. However, we both knew that I was still married and understood what that meant and what it didn't mean. So we spent a long, leisurely evening sipping wine and letting our eyes play flirtatious games with each other as we chatted. Brenda, as I said, is beautiful and passionate. However, the flip side of passion is jealousy. And I was almost certain that the thought of me fondling Miss Dee Charmaine would drive her crazy and ruin the wonderful time she was looking forward to spending with her new and lustful Mr. Pussyhound. When I dropped Charmaine off at her apartment, she did me the favor of dropping a drop of her perfume on my shirt and smeared her freshly painted lips on my shirt collar, neck, and cheek. Kissing me on the cheek, she wished me good night. Go get her, Tiger. We laughed as I got in my truck and headed home. It was barely 10 when I walked into the Big Chill. Where the hell have you been? None of your business, I replied nonchalantly. You never told me where you went with your anonymous Mr. P-Hound. I'd ask if you used condoms, but I don't care if you're rotting from the inside out anymore, because I'll never touch your lecherous, cheating body again. So I don't care where you went, what you did, or who you were with. I had a wonderful time, and I'm very grateful to you for it. What do you mean, thank you? Don't you see? If you hadn't gotten the stupid idea to open our marriage, I never would have had the chance to get to know Charmaine better. What a woman, hot, hot, hot. So thank you, darling. Ah, Brenda screamed at the top of her lungs, making me wonder if the neighbor would call the police. You know I hate that bitch. Why do you think she was the first person I called? She stared at me, stunned. What did you say? Once again, I seem to have overestimated your intelligence. Pull yourself together for a second. This isn't rocket science. You decided to reject me and rub my nose in it by dressing up for some anonymous asshole, wearing clothes you've never worn for me. And you're surprised when I follow your lead? You renegotiated the terms of our marriage without my objection, and I just did what you did. The only difference is that I was honest enough to tell you who I was going out with. For some strange reason, you're too ashamed of your accomplices to name them. So, Ms. Rocket Scientist, what exactly is your problem? The wind swept her sails away. Brenda deflated before my eyes, 2 tears rolling down her cheeks. Without giving her a chance to catch her breath, I continued. Let me guess, Kevin South didn't get you tonight like he'd hoped. Another squeal, this time full of pathos, filled the air, and she clamped her hands over her mouth. How do you know? Using the voice of a game show announcer, I said, once again, the inadequacy of your mind is on full display. Think for once. You work in an office with at least 10 other women. Kevin is the biggest lover of girls you'll ever meet. Everyone there knows who's sleeping with who, and they talk about it. That's what you did. So, P-Brain, did you think for a second that you would be the exception? For over a month, several of your so-called friends have been telling me that you not only fell for Kevin's crap, but you started looking for him yourself. Google-eyed, one of your coworkers called it. Who knows? Maybe he dumped her for you. No rage and all that. Rumor has it he was going to make you his tonight. He even had a room at the Marriott. Apparently, he's using the Marriott for the first night. After that, it's the Motel 6 or the woman's house. You didn't know that? Her big eyes told me she was shocked and appalled at being made to look ignorant, gullible, and such an easy target. She burst into tears. Rick, I'm so sorry. You're right. I'm such a fool. How can you stand being married to a stupid bitch like me? Brenda, the good news is I don't have to. I don't have to stay married to your stupid, slutty ass. You'll be served here tomorrow after breakfast. We're renting this house, and we have 3 more months so you can renew your contract or use that time to find something you like better. Where will you go? She asked in a thin voice. Charmaine said I could stay with her while I figure something out. She has a second bedroom she uses for an office. Once I file, she said, we can discuss better terms. When I told her I'd file tomorrow, she laid out those terms, the good ones. I can't wait to discuss them further. Everything else you and I have, we'll just split it in half. Now you can sleep with whoever you want, and you won't have to put up with crap from a wimpy husband. I hope Kevin is worth it. Epilogue. I met some of the other husbands who had fallen victim to Kevin, nicknamed Mr. Hound. One night after dinner, he discovered his car had been vandalized. Windows broken, paint scratched, baby poop all over the seats, wheels stolen, and I forget what else. While he was surveying the damage, 3 masked, unknown men dressed in all black silently robbed him and beat him badly. The police were puzzled as to why the robbers would go after his wallet and fake Rolex after his family jewels. But since there were no witnesses and the parking lot cameras were painted over, they had nothing to focus on. The 4 spouses of his victims were playing poker at one of their homes. After he recovered, he moved out of state. No one knows. Doesn't matter where. Brenda moved, found an apartment. But when she realized I was happily attached to Charmaine, she moved out of state too. I never saw her again. I stayed with Charmaine for a while longer. But we mutually decided that short-term pleasure didn't necessarily lead to long-term compatibility, so I moved out and found a townhouse closer to work. As I got older, wiser, and fitter, I found common ground with a coworker at the gym I frequented. One thing led to another, as these moments usually do. And I found happiness with a man who had real brains between his ears and loyalty in his heart.